This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstye Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 7, Episode 10, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington. And I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the mighty Hogstye Network on audio and here on YouTube on video. And as we say, buy my new book, so that I can retire in style and Matt can get, a soda at my house.
Hey, it's been a couple of days. I still haven't got my copy yet.
If you go to monumentalthoughts.com, you can buy direct to me and I'll sign it. It's the only way I'll sign it. I don't know why any of you care about that, but if you do, that's the way to get it. All right. So Washington Commanders, undefeated and unforgiving, are playing at Detroit. They play almost a home road, almost the whole season like this. Really unusual, but they're going to play the Lions. And you thought, okay, they can beat the Lions. And then I saw the Lions barely lost to Philly 38-35. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm most amazed at, that they scored 35 or Philly gave up 35. But I looked at the box score, and yeah, Philly had the game in hand. But still, maybe Jared Goff kind of realized he can play somewhere besides L.A.
Yeah, and that was the thing, too, was Philly was supposed to have a really good defense this year. So it was kind of surprising to see that they did score 35 on that Eagles defense. But I'll be honest with you, Rick, some of those were garbage time points. Philly pretty much had the game in hand the whole game. I know they did have a pick six of Goff. There was some that game was pretty much in hand for them. I think AJ Brown had 100 and something yards. I think he had like 11 catches for 100 and some yards. I mean, he was definitely the primary target. I don't know.
Yeah, he made Detroit. DeAndre Swift had 144 yards on 15 carries. Yeah. He had one, but still the other, he would have been 14 for 94, which is still great. Man, you got to watch that. And that scares me for Washington because, I don't know, man, running backs can tend to get through them at times. And they're still this defense is still trying to figure it out. So if you got a quarterback and a running back to attack them different ways, this defense has got to play better than they played against Jacksonville.
I don't give Goff isn't that much better than Lawrence. Swift is good. Don't get me wrong. I just still, I hate to say it, but it's the Lions. I mean, we're playing probably the only two teams in the league that have been more down than us the first two games of the season, except for maybe the Texans. But yeah, I hate to say it, it's the Lions. We don't lose to the Lions, do we?
Well, the Lions' last NFC Championship was also Washington's last one in 91. I covered that game. And who knew that neither of them were going to see anything again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but, it's up there. That always matters a little. I don't know. It's a trap game in a way, although Detroit is a 1-point favorite, right, as opening lines. So I thought, ooh, okay, that's interesting. Maybe because they scored so much that Vegas went that way with them. But, the basics are always the basics of how you win. But defensively, the corners got to play a lot better. I thought the safeties were okay. The linebackers cannot still cover anybody crossing the middle on there. They just can't. I don't know who you're going to get. Do you got to get some Superman who runs a 4-1 to play linebacker? Because they just can't do it. And the D-line, the pass rush, they pressured Trevor Lawrence quite a bit, but they didn't really hit him very often. Mm-hmm. Not enough. They were close, but not. They got to get home on this. So, maybe if they're looking for extra defensive linemen, maybe Ndamukong Suh can come back and show this one up. I don't know. I wouldn't sign him just because that's too much of a diva.
They already picked up Derek Jeter.
Well, they did pick up Jeter, and they were going to pick up another guy last I looked.
Yeah.
But no, I would have never.
His name is not Derek Jeter. I know that. It was a joke.
Oh, I know that.
No, I'm telling people watching.
Oh, yeah, you people watching.
As bad as we are with names half the time, I know his name is not Derek Jeter.
Yeah, I forget his first name now, but yes, I had to write it down earlier today on there. So I wonder if for the Washington offense, is this going to be a season where they just pass the ball a lot. I mean, I don't know. Brian Robinson will be back in a few weeks. Hopefully he'll be okay. But I have a feeling with all these receivers, tight ends, they're just going to throw the ball at least 60%.
I didn't expect Wentz to throw the ball 41 times against Jacksonville, and he did. Yeah, I mean, look, you've got 3 higher tier, well, 1 superstar and 2 right below him, wide receivers in Dotson, Samuel, and Terry. You know, does De'Ami Brown see the field? Probably not. I mean, maybe here and there to spell somebody, but that's about it. I mean, I don't think De'Ami had his chance to prove in the preseason, especially with his college quarterback, and we didn't see much out of him. You know, I don't think Dax Milne is a substantial threat at wide receiver. Cam Sims is interesting because he has the size. But yeah, those are your top 3, and that's what they're going to focus on. And they look, I'll be honest with you, I think he doesn't seem like this type of guy, but I do believe the game against Jacksonville and this season, Wentz is going to play with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to see Philadelphia twice. He got to play Jacksonville, which was a game that he lost last year with Indianapolis to go to the playoffs. So that was a revenge game. You know, he's got, like I said, the 2 games against Philly. They don't play Indy, do we? Yeah, and so there you go. And he's gonna have a revenge game against Indy. This is the Carson Wentz chip season. As long as he stays healthy, he is going to go out there and prove to the Eagles and to Indy and Jim Irsay and every bad thing that he said about him that they were wrong. And hey, if it benefits the Commanders, then hey, I'm here for it. You know what I mean? And like you said, once you add it, the element that we saw against Jacksonville of Gibson being a catching threat out of the backfield is what we've been told for 2 years that he was supposed to be doing. And we finally saw it, and we saw how dynamic it was. You add a Brian Robinson to that where he can just pound it right up the middle. And look, this offensive line was rated top 5 in run blocking by ESPN to start the season. You know, we don't really know the status of Schweitzer, but look, man, this is a decent offensive line that protects when they need to and can open holes for a big running back to explode through. This offense does have the potential to be something. When they get Chase back, maybe the defense does. I don't know. I'm not banking on that. But they need to find a way to probably run 3 safeties. Forrest showed what he can do. I would put him more in that Buffalo role against a tight end because we know he can hit. He can take those big boys down. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. And this is another game where they should win. I'm going to pick them to win when we do our picks. But I think this is definitely 2 games in a row where you should win, and they have to go out there and do it.
And 2-0, they'll be on the road to Glendale, Arizona. That's where the Super Bowl is this year.
Well, they do have a very tough opponent coming in week 3.
Yeah, they win that one. The crowd goes wild, and we have a lot more people listening to this.
And I mean, Dak's hurt for 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, they get Dallas in week 4 in Dallas. So is that in Dallas or is that here? That's in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I agree. Things are in front of them if they want to do it. I thought overall they got a lot to tighten up. Yeah. I think Del Rios just baffles me with his stuff. But I think Scott Turner showed people a lot because he wasn't going to show you in August. He was waiting until September, and he's got enough tools to do it.
Yeah, and Turner had a couple gimmick plays where I was kind of scratching my head, like, a wide receiver reverse on like 3rd and 2. Like, when you're passing the ball down the field as effectively as they were, don't go to the gimmicks. Just do what you know.
Well, yeah, we'll see. He still has to learn things. He threw a pass when they should have run the ball late in the game. Mm-hmm. You eat the clock and that kind of stuff. I thought, what are you doing? You gave him too much time by doing that incomplete pass. But these are minor points compared to normal on all that.
But I will say this about Wentz. This is probably the best quarterback we've had since Kirk?
Yeah, Kirk was, I always say, empty calories.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. They looked good last night with Kevin O'Connell under the helm, but yeah, I mean, Kirk's going to get you a lot of garbage time, yards and points. That's what he's always done. But yeah, I mean, as far as starting quarterback quality, this is probably one of the most quality ones we've had.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably go back to at least Burnell, and he probably could have a better season. Burnell was was washed up by the time he came here. This was not his best years. Best years were in Jacksonville. So yeah, I'd have to really sit there and look. Could he be as good as the '99 season? Maybe. That. But yeah, it's been a long time for all this stuff.
Well, look, I mean, we can't discount Robert in 2012. I mean, 2012, that was just an amazing run.
Yeah, I mean, it was more of his legs than his arm, but that was good. I saw Robert coming out of the tunnel of Michigan and doing the intro on TV, and then now he's on the Junkies once a week, which amazes me. Those are the guys that nailed his coffin shut, and he's back for that. So maybe he's finally embracing. He's done as a player. I'm sure he's done as a player, and he's embracing something new. Good for him, man. That's what you would like to do.
Well, and that book got canceled too. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, Logan Paulson's now an analyst in a bunch of different places, doing a great job. Different guys on there. One of the weird things that came out this week too, since we talk about all the teams, Philadelphia. You remember the Philly game last season where the rail gave way and 5 people crashed to the ground, and didn't seem like anybody was really hurt. But they now launched a lawsuit this week against FedEx Field that said we want $75,000 each, which, to be honest, is a low figure.
A little low.
Yeah, I would have thought you'd go for like 250 and settle for 75 or something. But not all of them got medical attention. And if you're ever in a car accident, go to the hospital and be checked, because if you don't, you pretty much lose legal claim to injuries on that. So if you're anybody out there, if you want legal advice,
I was gonna say, see, folks, he's not just a sports writer; he's also a lawyer.
And also been a defendant. Somebody sued that 30 some years ago, but they claimed they were hurt, but they didn't even. They told paramedics they were fine, and the judges were all like, you walked away fine. Whatever happened to you later is your business.
Exactly.
So that crazy stuff happened. But they, I think the team got some new duct tape. I think that area is pretty good now. I did notice they had 2 security guards standing there the whole game. On there,
and they had a bunch of people chew some bubble gum to fill that hole from the pipe explosion. So I think FedEx is patched up for another year.
Yeah, I did like they had the band walk around playing a lot. But the hard part about the band is they only have 60 people now instead of the 120. You can't hear them when they're out on the field. You couldn't hear the national anthem. You couldn't hear the hail because maybe it's just not enough people to make noise. I don't know. Maybe they got lost in the big stadium, but it was shocking. And I thought, well, you need more guys. I saw them. They do the drum thing now on the mezzanine at the end of the game, and the fans come and they play some kind of hip hop, whatever. Yeah. I mean, actually marched in formation, 3 different groups. I was like, whoa, look at that. I haven't had that in all these years. But they had pretty much all new people in playing, and a new director too. So it was interesting to see that. And then now let kids come down on the field after the game. You have to sign up for it, but you can do that. They had a Legends area now where people can come meet some of the old players. Like I know Doug Williams hung out a lot this past week on there. So, people are up for it. The jerseys, there's still at least 80% Redskins jerseys on there. It's going to take a while for Commanders gear to really get through the system.
I thought you were going to grade the jerseys. I was giving a thumbs down to the white one. I'm tired of seeing the white one. Give me the red one. But let's pick the game real quick. We got to get out of here.
All right. I'm going Washington 23-21 win.
Washington 31, Detroit 24.
All right. Well, there you go. Matt's going big, and I'm going home. I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.